Hi Libras, and welcome to your November 2021 General Tarot Forecast. This is Sky, coming on to talk to you calmly and tranquilly about your calm and tranquil month ahead of November. Let's talk all about it. So for those of you who are new, I tend to do intuitive messages followed by a week-to-week tarot forecast and an extended reading on Patreon. If you like the reading, if it resonates, be sure to subscribe and hit the like button to get the video out there. Let me know how you're doing with a comment below and if it resonated. Okay, so intuitive messages for Libra in November. There's a focal point misplaced. Perhaps there is a distractive tendency. There is something that you've been focused on for a long time. It's been very front and center. It's been very right in front of you, but it's not really the thing, okay? So this is kind of like, yeah, you gotta maybe just solve the problems in front of you so that you can see what's really there. I feel that Libra doesn't really see what's going on. You see, like if you see the Six of Pentacles card there, he has the food in one hand and the scales in the other hand. And the person is really paying attention to the food, really paying attention. Or I suppose that might actually be coins. It's either coins or food. One way or another, they're paying attention to that hand, but they're not paying attention to the other hand. So we have to really beware in November of 2021 about being distracted by money or some type of very myopic sustaining and basically losing track of the longer term momentum and trajectory being set. So it also reminds me of Seven of Cups, and oh my gosh, yes, there are Seven of Cups in your reading. I hadn't even seen it yet, where it's like we're looking at all of these grand potentialities, all of these grandiose momentums that are true and they are coming. And I feel that Libra is very prosperous, and the way in which you are moving forward is very prosperous. However, you've got to keep yourself in sight. So what a great month, Scorpio season and Sag season of 2021, to reacquaint yourself with you, with what you want, with what you have created, and how it sits now. You can really know how things sit in November without being distracted by these short-term aspects. Also, it seems to be a really good month for a change in direction of some kind, a new location, a new job, a new income, a new outlook on life, perhaps even more. That is not about illusions of grandeur with the Seven of Cups. That is not about debt with the Six of Pentacles. That is not about even appearances, but is really about truly you and about the connections that you really need to forge now. So we should now, at this point in time in 2021, be starting to see the fad-like nature of what we were previously committed to. As we see that, it's likely that we start to make new plans and that we start to have some type of emotional evolution as well, with Page of Cups coming in and actually kind of getting younger, okay, within our emotional process. So many of us have been pursuing these wizened, old, ancient, elderly types of emotional navigation. It's great wisdom to have, but also we have to remember our humanity. So I'm kind of coming to you today, Libra, to ask you to remember your own humanity as well, and to not hold yourself to some kind of Teflon, plastic, inanimate, because you are an inanimate sign as well. That's true. To not hold yourself to a non-human standard. Inhumane self-employment can be seen here. Inhumane self-imposed anything, regulations, diets, careers. Very clear, not just for you, but especially for you, because your sign was so activated over the last few months with Sun Mars conjunction. And it really brought out the worst in a lot of situations by just the honesty, right? By showing it, by showing us if we were living beyond our means, by showing us if we were not in the right career, by showing us what the weight was, right? Like the scales, that's what scales do. They give a measurement. So we, in November of 2021, have a lot of measurement results, a lot of data, basically. And Scorpio season and Sag season are, yes, about processing that, and then with Capricorn season, striking the gavel and choosing. So there's still time here in November to sit with stuff, to emotionally process, to filter, to think about what it means to see this number on the scale, to think about what it means to see this number in the account, to think about what it means to see how many hours you put into this or that. But what do I want to say? By January, you can kind of set up a little bit of a deadline for yourself, perhaps, to have made a decision about how you want to move forward with it all. And also to kind of see that so many doors are open for Libra. The universe is being very kind. Even the Tower, I feel for you, is a kind thing right now. To the degree that the way things fall through or are released at this time is a relief. You know, release can be relieving. It can be sad. It can be depressing. It can be a matter of grief for a lot of people, but it can also be relieving. And I do feel there might be a lot of things you need to relieve yourself of at this time. Scorpio season, it's a great time for release, for letting go, for... Okay, this is interesting. I'm catching on to something here. I'm just looking out my window and I'm getting a huge psychic download. Just give me a second to process it. November, especially for you, and I feel like you might be very much a progenitor of this here, of this thing that I'm feeling so strong, it's kind of hard to articulate. Understanding why we keep on doing things that we don't feel are right for us, but then when we tempt ourselves with stopping, we feel like attached to it, like it is right. It's sort of like living in agony, I will say. It's like I'm constantly trying to create a contrast or opposite result. Like as I'm doing the job, I don't like the job, but when I want to quit the job, I like the job. As I'm with this person, in the relationship with this person, I'm constantly thinking about breaking up, but when I break up, I can't fathom the idea of living without them. It's like an 8, right? We're in the 8th sign of the zodiac. It's like, you know, if you look at the geometry of a figure 8, it's constantly feeding back into itself. It's infinite. Maybe this is just the human condition that we kind of don't love what we do while we do it, and then we love it when we leave it. Figure 8, right? I think there's got to be something bigger than that in life, though, and I think that you are wondering upon it. That's what I was drawn to tell you as I was getting that psychic download. That Libra, you know, the scales in balance, does represent, to me, in my opinion, Libra represents an alternative to this never-ending, sealed and stuck, stagnant place that the 8 can be like, that these situations can be like. And what I feel the answer to it is basically trust. So it comes really down to trust, doesn't it? And trusting that on the other side of that type of situation, that there could be something nice. It's a hard place to be, though, you know, when it's not like guaranteed, when you're not, I don't know, making all that money or swaying all those hearts. It's like, if those things aren't here, though while they're here, I'm not satisfied with them. But if they're not here, do I trust what would be there? very philosophical, very, very impossible to answer, but very infinite within the human condition. So very positive if you've worked with like ancestral karma and can understand the humanity of your experience through that. And how powerful also to now be fitting into what you really want and transcending this to a degree. But yes, the Tower, right? Is your only major arcana card this month, meaning that it's not just like flowers and rainbows to transcend this. It's not just easy, otherwise it would have already happened, right? There is a paring down and there is a release. There is an optimization if you want to look at it that way, but also a collapse if you want to look at it that way. It's up to you. Other intuitive messages, bringing it down a little bit to earth. Very macro stuff we're talking about there, but I feel that the month of November is showing you how you are as a hero, showing the heroism of a Libra, showing the way that you are essential to a certain project or a certain output. So your talents are needed now. I was talking, I think in Leo and Virgo's reading, about being that person that a situation needs and then really evolving through it. So having the qualification that someone else is looking for, being like the missing link, basically. I do see that for you. And that seems to happen very naturally. Like it's like you just fit right into it instead of having to go into illusions of grandeur or sign crazy contracts or something. There's a better horizon, Libra. There's something, I just feel, tarot cards aside, I'm getting kind of tired of it, honestly. I'm going to be really honest with you guys. My content's got to evolve a little bit too, and I feel I'm right there with you in this, and I'm seeing it through your reading, and that's why I love this content, because it gives me so much clarity. But there comes a point in time also where the next step comes in, and where it's only there because of you not being on the previous step as well. You know what I mean? Like, maybe we've spent too much time thinking about it and now it's time to just like climb those stairs. Because I'm being called to say by the universe, before I lose my train of thought, that you are ready, you're beautiful, you're loved, you're cradled in more ways than you know. And Scorpio season is going to take away that pain and that pessimistic doom casting, right? It can give a lot of that too, but it can also take it away. So we maybe have to choose also. We maybe have to do this in tandem. How powerful might it be to not doomcast your future? I just know that I won't make enough money. I just know that my life will collapse if I stop this. It's like the devil card, you know, it's like being chained to stuff. Self-confidence. Knowing that you've overcome something harder than this before is another huge little. It's another potent knowing right now. You've overcome more difficult things than what you're facing here. So why make these little things this big? You gotta have the confidence to step into the next chapter soon, at least. I mean, there's time. I was talking also, I think it was in Virgo's extended reading. Check out the Patreon page for the extendeds. It's really, really a great service. You have time if you're like really a structure security oriented person, as I'm sure you are as a Libra, perhaps. There's plenty of time, you know, there's like 15 months really. I've been really getting this like 15-month time period for starting Scorpio season. So I guess that puts us to like February of 2023, January 2023, something like that. there's a really long time period that's coming in here to basically enjoy security and enjoy something that's been a long period of repetition. But through this period of time, it's also going to show the ugly side of it, which is like a prevention of what one wants. So I'm feeling that we have to almost be dualistic in our output. This is a tough little message because it's not right for everybody. Because duality can also be like bipolarity as well, can't it? It can also be like overdoing oneself or pushing oneself too far by taking on too much. There's that part of it, which I think all of us are sensing at this point in time as well. But for some of us, I think that we have to maybe do the two things, or we have to be multifaceted in our approach to safeguard the essence of what we have been lucky enough to create now while pursuing new things. It's like a moderate approach, I guess. And there's more extreme approaches, one being like just fixating where you currently are and locking in and really building up an incredible amount of wealth for some people and security. And then there's another really extreme, which is just flying now. Okay. So it's the three options, right? It's the two extreme options and then a more moderate approach. I myself am looking to the moderate approach. Maybe it's my personality, I don't know, but I kind of have been doing a lot of soul searching myself. And I hope this is making sense to you. If it's making sense, it is. If it's not, check out your sun, moon, rising sign. But I myself have been feeling that the moderate approach is where it's at for me. Because I guess as someone with a lot of Sagittarius in my chart, I've like got a nice little predisposition to liking options. And it's just, I also think it's really crazy right now to be in a winner takes all approach. Like, just imagine, say that you worked for 30 years and you saved, I don't know, $1 million over your 30-year career. Imagine just like saying, I'm going to invest that $1 million into one stock. I'm going to put that $1 million onto one slot machine. I'm going to create a business and I'm going to put that full $1 million into that one business. Doesn't that just sound really crazy? Though I'm feeling that psychologically a lot of people are, in fact, taunting themselves with these types of thoughts. And they're not getting it out of themselves. They're not speaking about it. They're not going to a financial advisor about it. They're not thinking about it clearly. They're thinking about it, but they're not getting it out. And because of that, it's like getting a glamour. It's like, ooh, I could put $1 million and I could make my own business and put a full $1 million. Like make the business, but put maybe like 10% of it in, right? So that there's other things. That's just what I would think. But the glamour of it all is leading a lot of people to take on a little bit too much risk at this time. And it's not just money related things. That's just an example. It can also be with like marriages that we haven't considered fully. Rushing to the altar, I can see that for some people. I could see anything that involves recklessly rushing, anything that involves decisions made on impulse, anything that involves fast timelines is a very tempting right now. And for some people, they need to do these things. Like some people do need to walk. Some people do need to probably take their relationship to the next level. I think that that's all really indicated here. But what I'm just being drawn to call you, Libra, is again, you're the last sign that I'm filming this month. So I'm taking some time. I like to do it on the last sign every month to really take time and sit with the energy for a long time. November of 2021, it's like so many of the old problems are gone. So many of the old concerns are not relevant, but we are making them too relevant. And we are still thinking, like some of us are still thinking in 2015 mode. Some of us are still thinking even in 2019 mode. And these paradigms just have very little impact now. So many people have no clue the paradigm shift that we've experienced. Really around the time of like December 2020, January and to March of 2021, when we had Jupiter and Saturn really getting into Aquarius and those configurations really breaking the triple Capricorn conjunction. This shifted paradigm in such an intense way. And it's the best thing that I can tell any of you here on this channel is that I would consider wisdom to be one of the biggest gifts of life, though it has to be used in what's the word? It has to be used in proportion, I suppose, because there's something very new, and there's things that we never thought we could do that we can do now. There's certain considerations or things that which used to be impediments or used to be preventative that just aren't anymore, like money concerns. Money is a totally different construct now, totally different. So a lot of us are still operating on a previous money psychology that is being now an impediment. And also, a lot of people are overestimating what they can do in the short term and underestimating what they can do in the long term. There, I said it. That's a good way to put it. I think that there's a saying, I don't know who says this, but feel free to comment below if you know who said this. I've heard this, I don't know who said it, but we overestimate what we can do in a year and we underestimate what we can do in 10 years, right? So I would consider that to be super relevant at this point in time. Again, I don't know who said that, but someone else has said that. It's very true. It's very true. And I think that then there's a big demographic of people also just underestimating everything, not just in timelines, not just underestimating 10 years from now, but totally underestimating what they can do in a year, what they can do in 10 years. Everything's underestimated, and they're just pursuing a type of figure eight security regimen. And that shouldn't be looked down on either. But the underestimation part maybe should be, because it's almost like pursuing lack that some people are fooling themselves into this moment thinking is like, oh, it's just so great, you know? So keep an eye on that. Anyway, Libra, we're talking for such a long time. Let's jump into the week to week here. And we'll break down these messages a little bit more. And then we'll do an extended on Patreon. I don't know if any of you even want an extended at this point because the reading is so long. But on Patreon, I do weekly forecasts every week. And all the readings are available early, totally ad-free, the general readings, and with extended. So 4 big things that you get by being on Patreon. Definitely check it out. It'll be linked below and in the top right-hand corner of the screen. Let's talk about your week to week. Okay, so Libra, bringing this down to the micro again. Week number 1, November, 2 of Cups, rooted down by the Tower. Relationships sometimes have to fall through. Relationships have to, one way or another, evolve. Whether they fall away or whether they're taken to the next level, there's an evolution. Keep an eye out for volatility, whether this is in your relationship with others or your relationship with yourself. Are the relationships as calm as we think that they are? Try to think about what peace in relationships might mean to you now. Okay? I feel like a lot of you are already totally there. But for those of you who aren't, for those of you who have had unpeaceful relationships in 2021, you would see how that's also been like a paradigm shift and how that's much more harsh than it used to be as well. Also, there can be like a looming kind of danger that I feel for some people, even in peaceful relationships, that it's really good to like look at this. And you'll know it if it's there. This isn't like something where you're going to start noticing this now. Like it's something that you would have been thinking about for a long time, because the first week is taking something to a head. It's taking something to a limit. And it is bringing through a new relationship, self-relationship, okay, as 2 of Cups is also relationship with self. Week 2, you've got 6 of Pentacles rooted down by Page of Cups. Emotional debt. I need to make a whole video on emotional debt. It's a concept that I myself created or thought of, but the concept of emotional debt, where we put off emotional confrontations or we put off emotional expression, and it accrues interest. And that's a debt that's very difficult to pay. And it does usually end up in huge outbursts. So repressing, suppressing. Yeah. Week 2, you got to get something out. Okay. And you might already see in October leading up that it's been coming out like by like stubbing your toe or you're like knocking stuff over or dropping stuff all the time. Like that's what emotional debt does. Those are like our little interest payments. Like we got to get it out. Okay. Try to pay it off now. Try to express it, journaling, right? What are healing ways that we can express that? Journaling is a way, for sure. And knowing what we're actually upset about, it can really masquerade in Scorpio season. Like we think that we don't know what to do with our business, but in reality, we are just pent up with our anger and frustrated in general. And now it's growing and manifesting in new ways. Week 3, King of Swords rooted down by 6 of Cups. You start to really figure it out. Okay, you start to really figure out who caused you to feel what feeling. You start to figure out why you feel the way that you feel. And then there's this like giving Libra as well, like giving so much, helping so many other people, but can you help yourself now? You are called to really help yourself now and to kind of be on both sides of 6 of Cups yourself. Okay, try to do that in the 3rd week. Week 4, Knight of Pentacles rooted down by 7 of Cups. I like Knight of Pentacles for you more than I like 7 of Cups. I'm seeing so many people in 7 of Cups right now. It's kind of painful to see so many people in the collective in 7 of Cups. Like more people than have ever been in 7 of Cups. Making things bigger than they have to be, making things bulkier than they have to be, spending more on things than they have to. In a never-ending search for significance, right? Whereas Knight of Pentacles, it's very streamlined. It's like he has everything he needs in his own hands and he's making it work himself and he's not making things bigger than they have to be. Okay? Minimalism, right, is great. Let's talk more about that in your extended reading on Patreon, Libras. Sort of a quick finish, but yes, we have gone way over time today. I hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to check the extended link below and in the center of your screen now. You can click right in the center to get it, and we will talk more about what else is coming up for you this month and talk more about getting things scaled and sized appropriately in your life. What a great little conversation that will be. Let's talk soon, Libras. Have a great month. Bye.